start by introducing yourselves, where you're from exactly, what grade you're in, obviously your name, and then maybe what you're studying. And then we'll get started.
Okay. My name is Mary Van Dyke. I'm a sophomore here at Carroll. I'm from Bainbridge Island, Washington, which is just a little island across from downtown Seattle. And I'm in the nursing program here at Carroll.
I'm Otis Smith. I am from Newport, Washington, Dorado, Spokane, and I am a business major.
I'm Cailin Spencer. I'm a sophomore from Spokane, Washington, and I'm a biochemistry major.
I'm Joe Kiefer. I'm a sophomore from Beaverton, Oregon, just outside of Portland, and I'm a communications and marketing major.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So to start out, how about we kind of talk about maybe what made you look and then ultimately choose Carroll as like the school that you decided to go to? Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, the biggest factor in choosing Carroll was the nursing program specifically. I was looking at a couple of different schools with strong programs and got some solid mail from Carroll. That was a big thing. Got a lot of pamphlets and postcards and stuff, and heard about their nursing program and that they went on service trips and stuff, and that really piqued my interest. So then we had a break in school in like February, and my parents and I drove out here in February, and everyone was super nice. That was one thing that I really noticed, is like everybody was holding doors for each other, and it's a really kind of tight-knit community here on campus that I really enjoyed seeing when I was touring. So that's kind of what brought me here. And then I also really liked the outdoors, so there's a lot of opportunities to get outside around Montana too.
Yeah, Carroll I love that it was small and that everybody was super nice and it was super tight-knit. I had my older brother here, which really helped me a lot. So I got to visit a few times and stay with him, so that was really nice. Everything is really beautiful here. We have like all the mountains, and there's a lot of places to go around Montana, which is super cool. And then I've talked with some of the professors and things like that, and they're all just super nice and super welcoming, so that was very helpful for me.
I have family around Montana, so I always knew about Carroll, and whenever we came through Helena, I always thought it was like a really gorgeous campus. And then I'm on the golf team here, so I started talking to the golf coach, and he sort of recruited me, and I came on a few visits. And I really liked the outdoors aspect, and it also has a really, really great pre-med program, like if you want to do that route, so that was what drew me in.
Yeah, my brother, he was like a couple years older than me, and he had gone to Carroll. And when I was in middle school, I would come and visit him and stay at Carroll and stay in the dorms. And that's when I first started getting a feel for it. And I was kind of different in that I only applied to Carroll. I kind of knew at the end of high school that it was the place that I wanted to be just because of the community. You can never really walk more than 2 minutes on campus without saying hi to somebody or seeing somebody that you know. And I feel like that was really important, just to get a homey feel for the school you're going to be spending the next 4 years at.
Oh, great, thank you. So while we kind of talked about it a little bit, why don't you guys talk about maybe any specific stories or any kind of cool things that you like about the professors on campus that you get to interact with pretty closely? We can actually, Joe, if you want to start.
Yeah, I actually had an experience. I was in a social media class last semester, and one of my friends who sat next to me in the class, he wasn't there one day, and just this kind of goes along with small class sizes and professors really caring about their students and such. In the class, the professor, when she was taking roll and noticed that my friend wasn't there, was like, "Hey, can you call him and just make sure he's okay and that like everything's all right?" And I called him, and he was sick for the day, and so then we were FaceTiming my friend in front of the whole class, and he was kind of embarrassed, but it was pretty funny, and just really shows how much the professors care and value the students, that they want to know exactly if something's wrong or why they're not in class.
Is that Dr. Gutafon?
No.
She did that too. Yeah, like the professors support you with anything you're doing, like on campus or off campus. Like just an hour ago, I told one of my professors, Dr. Gretsch, that I was going to be gone for a golf tournament, and I was going to miss a quiz. And I told him, and I was like, "Hey, when would you like me to come in and make this up?" And he told me, whenever works for you, because I know you have a ton going on. You let me know when works for you, and that's just awesome to have like one less thing to stress about.
Yeah, I'm in ROTC, so and we have cadre that are ahead of our program, so they're super nice and super fun, and they always joke around with us. And we just went on like a 3-day camping trip, and they were joking around with us and talking trash to us the whole time. It was super fun, so we all had a great time.
Yeah, I'm really close with the nursing professors that I've taken classes from. I think it's really cool that all the professors like know your name, like whoever your advisor is or whoever you're taking classes from, they know exactly what your deal is, kind of thing. And it's really cool. So I went and talked to one of my professors just about, it was like a course evaluation thing. We were going over this huge project that I had to do. And then afterwards, we just started talking about the Oscars and all of the different movies that were being nominated for the Oscars, about how I wanted to watch them. And then she was just like, oh yeah, like I saw this one, it was really good, like you should totally go see it. And so it's definitely more than just like an academic aspect that you can like talk about with your professors. You can talk to them about things going on in your life if you need to, and they're really invested in your future and stuff. So it's really nice to have that really kind of trusting atmosphere between students and professors, I think.
Great. So when you guys went through the process of picking a school and kind of that stressful senior year, I know how it kind of gets, but when you were looking at schools, was size a factor, and what kind of factor did that play into your choosing Carroll?
For me, size was kind of something one of the things I was like most nervous about when I was coming to Carroll, because I went to a high school that was about 1,200 students, and Carroll is like 1,400 students, so it's not a ton bigger. So I was a little, that was just something that was like I had to think about, because I had like UW as another option, which is an enormous school. But like something that people told me that kind of made me stress a little bit less about it was like, do you know every single person in your high school? And I was like, no, I don't. I see new people every single day. And then also, if you compare it to like a really big school, you're not going to really have that same professor connection that we were just talking about. Like, you really have to go out of your way to, get that contact from your professor, or even contact with students in your class, because you have smaller class sizes and stuff. And so I think it was a good choice for myself personally, because it's just definitely a more personal feel on campus here, and you get a really just individualized education, I think, because of the size. But also, you have to take into account that it is a small school, and it's smaller than a lot of schools in the U.S. So if that's not something you're looking for, then there's other places to go. But here, it's a really unique atmosphere, and I think it's really beneficial to the students here.
Yeah, I definitely wanted a small school. I graduated with 60 kids, I think, so I really liked like the tight-knit community. And I've heard, when I was applying for schools, I heard if you go to a big school, you're just a number in a system. Nobody really cares that much. But when I came to Carroll, and I talked to the professors when I came to visit my brother, they were really engaged with me, and they wanted to get to know me, and they were super like, come to Carroll, it'll be sweet, like we'll get to know each other, it'll be great. And I was not the best at school, so it's really nice to have that professor-student connection where you can go in and see them all the time, and you can email them and call them, and it's very helpful. So.
I actually wanted a smaller school. Carroll's a little smaller than my high school was, and it's been really helpful to me because the class sizes alone, like you rarely have a class over 30, and usually then it's like a 101 class. And if you're ever struggling, like you can raise your hand in class and they'll call on you and they know you, or you can go to their office hours, and you can get super personalized help that you wouldn't be able to get in like a massive university that has like 60 to 90 kids in a single auditorium. So I really like that about Carroll.
Yeah, when I was picking the school, I'd talk to friends who were going to bigger state schools, and they were like, that's insane, why would you go to a school that's so small? You're gonna like know everybody, and you're just gonna get sick of everybody. But every year, like even from this year to last year, I'm meeting so many new people and making so many more friends, and I feel like people, just because maybe at school with 15,000 or something is more normal and more talked about, that's what people like think is the only option. but 1,400 people is still a ton of people, and there's no way that you could possibly meet all of them. And so I like the small school feel and being able to walk around and see familiar faces, and even if you don't know them, it's just nice to be able to walk around campus and see people that you've seen before, and you say hi to people that you don't even know, because that's just kind of the environment. So I really wanted a small school feel.
Yeah, I think it also makes it like way easier to make friends. I think it would take a lot of like coordination and effort at like a huge school, because you know, you're in class with like 100+ students, and then you're like, oh, I really like that person, and then you have to like go out of your way to be like, oh wait, can we hang out please? And here, like, you're gonna run into them like
Multiple times a day.
within the next
You're
hour
gonna hang out.
probably. Like you'll be like, I don't remember their name, you'll see them again. So like that's it makes it really easy to get to know people and make friends and stuff. So I think that's another benefit.
Yeah. Oh, great. So, what do you guys like to do for fun in Helena? Because obviously Montana is different than Washington and Oregon is. So, what do you guys like to do around town or kind of just in Helena?
I had always wanted to snowboard and learn some more winter sports, but I had never done any of that. And there's Great Divide, which is about 25-30 minutes from campus, which was super cool. So I ended up going up last year a bunch and learning how to snowboard. I got a fly fishing license, and there's Hauser Dam's about 20 minutes from campus, so you could drive to that, and we went fly fishing. And then in Helena, it's just a really cool community with a lot of little hometown events and stuff that just like farmers markets and different events around town that are super fun to go to. So yeah.
Yeah, the outdoor activities around here are awesome. Like, there's a ton of hiking trails that are super cool. Mount Helena is an awesome hike that you can do. They usually take like a whole freshman trip up, so everybody can do it once, and it's really fun. And then the town itself just really loves Carroll. So if you go to any like business establishment and you're like, oh yeah, I'm from Carroll College, oh, I love Carroll, there's usually a student discount. And there's actually a ton of cool coffee shops around town, which I wasn't super expecting, but there's a cool like hangouts, so I like to do that.
I like to do kind of fun activities like bowling and golfing and mini golf and stuff like that. And I love golfing, and there's I think the golf course like 100 yards from the school, so I walk there and drive there all the time and hit balls and stuff. And then the bowling alley is super fun. Me and my friends go there all the time. It's super cheap, so that's awesome. And just kind of fun activities like that, I think, are a blast.
Yeah, the movie theater is
And the
super
movie
close
theater,
to
yeah.
walking distance.
Or you can make your own movie theater in Superman in the giant lecture hall.
There's like the golf course also gets like when it snows, it gets converted into like a cross country skiing place. We have like, is it a minor league hockey team?
Mhm.
That's
And
in
a minor
town.
league baseball.
Minor league baseball. That's always fun to go to those games. We also have this program called CAMP, which stands for Carroll's Adventure and Mountaineering Program. I'm one of the leaders for it. I'm not biased or anything. And they put on some like really, really cool events. They're either free or like free and you pack your own lunch, or if it's like a weekend trip or multiple day trip, it'll be pretty cheap. So like I went on a backpacking trip this fall, and it was near Big Sky, and it was for like 3 days and 2 nights, and it was for all I had was like my hiking boots and like my own clothing. So they provided like backpack, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, tent, food, all that junk, and it was $35 for the whole weekend, which is pretty affordable, and it was awesome. And so like I don't have a car, but that kind of makes it easier to get out and kind of explore around Montana, because I wouldn't get to do that otherwise. And so we've got some really good programs for students if they want to get out and explore a little bit more outside of Helena.
Yeah, great. So we have a question from one of our viewers. So it's, I know.
High tech.
What leadership opportunities are available on campus?
Well, I would assume like student leadership
Yeah.
is what that is focused towards. And so, for me personally, I'm a sophomore. In my freshman and sophomore year, I was a senator for the class. So each class on campus has 4 senators, which are all part of a larger committee called ASCC, which stands for the Associated Students of Carroll College. And then there's also a board of the executive board, which is the vice president, president, treasurer, and secretary. And so that's like kind of the main student leadership, but there's also, outside of that, there's not ASB, that's high school.
Yeah.
What's the activities?
Carroll.
CSA?
CSA, Carroll Student Activities, yeah. And that's the organization it's made up of students, and they plan all of the big events. We have a country concert coming to campus pretty soon, so yeah. So those are kind of the leadership opportunities, I would say.
And then there's all sorts of different clubs, and you can be like leaders, and like we've got a couple of, like I'm just saying for nursing, we have like a CCSNA, which is Carroll College Student Nurses Association, so you can like be the leader of that, or like Engineers Without Borders is a big one on campus, and so you can apply for leadership positions in clubs and stuff around campus too.
There's also an athletics leadership committee that's like, we're planning, like, we do the awards banquet for all the athletes at the end of the year, so like, that's an option too.
I think ROTC is like a big one too. For me at least, it's helped me a lot being a leader, and it's super fun. You get, there's a lot of chances to be a leader of a whole bunch of different people from here, and we work with Missoula too, so you get to work with them too, so it's a super fun opportunity.
Great. So we have another question from a viewer. Do any of the dorms do fun activities together? Do any of the dorms do fun activities together?
Together, like the whole
Definitely
building.
Quad.
Yeah, like
Freshman year, you live in Guadalupe Hall, which we shortened to Quad, and they do a lot of different activities. I'm trying to remember.
All the CAs on each floor, a lot of schools call them RAs, but Carroll calls them the community advisors instead of residential advisors. But all the CAs are required to plan events for your floor, and a lot of times the CAs will combine with another floor. So like last year in Guad, we'd have like grilled cheese nights where CAs would make everybody grilled cheese, or they'd make chocolate chip pancakes, and you could just kind of walk into the lobby and get a grilled cheese at 10 o'clock at night, which is kind of cool.
I think a sweet one too is like on Halloween.
Oh,
all the kids from the elementary schools would come around, and we would decorate all of Guadalupe Hall, because the little kids would walk around and get candy from the dorm rooms and stuff.
Trick or treat.
Yeah, that was fun.
A lot of floors would some of the guys' floors and stuff would plan like an ultimate frisbee day or something, or football or something outside.
It's like a floor guard.
Yeah.
If you're religious in any way, you don't have to be Catholic necessarily, but they also have pure ministers on every single floor. So they have like weekly meetings, like not small, but like small group.
Yeah.
There it is. Weekly small group meetings, and a lot of times those people will combine as well, and you'll go do activities like around campus, or they'll bring in speakers, and that's fun.
Great. So I'll kind of combine. We've got a couple other ones, so I'll kind of condense them. But basically, how would you what do you think of the dorms? And then also, what was your favorite dorm to live in so far? Even though I know you guys are underclassmen, but out of the couple that you've had.
Yeah, I've had more than most because I moved around a lot this year.
Quad's pretty nice.
Yeah, Guad was actually super, super nice. You have like your own sink in your room, and the rooms are pretty spacious. You have you and your roommate both have your own closet and drawers and stuff like that. So I really liked Guad. And then at the beginning of this year, I lived in St. Charles, which was super cool because it's mainly a sophomore dorm. So you're around all of your friends. But then halfway through the year, I moved over to Trinity, which is kind of like kind of like apartment style housing. So you have there'll be in some rooms there's an oven, but it's usually a stove and a full-size fridge, and then a little living area with a couch, and then you have like your own individual bedrooms with 4 roommates. So that's where I live now, and Trinity's really, really nice.
I just got the keys to. I'm moving into the on-campus apartment. And I just got my key to go look around there. I actually haven't looked at it myself, but my roommate sent me a Snapchat video of her looking around the room, and it's really nice. So those are like on-campus apartments, and that's kind of like the final step between like collegehood and adulthood, where you like actually have an apartment, you pay monthly rent, but you're paying that rent to Carroll. And it goes into like a scholarship fund, so that's kind of cool to know that you're kind of helping out, just like a self-perpetuating scholarship fund. And those are either 2-bedroom apartments or 3-bedroom apartments. 3-bedroom, they're a little bit cheaper than the 2-bedroom apartment, but those are really cushy. We've got like 2 or 3 pretty big bedrooms, and then like a whole living room, and then a fully furnished kitchen, which is really nice. So we got one with a bathtub. We're really excited about the bathtub. But I do live in St. Charles, which is this building right now, and that one, it's cool. It's like it's a historical building. It's like more than 100 years old, so that's cool to live in an old building and stuff.
If you've ever toured Carroll, Charlie's is probably the one you remember because it's the one that looks like a big castle in the middle of campus. Yeah, probably. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. All the dorms are nice though. They are nice.
Yeah.
I've had a blast in all of them.
Cool. So tell us a story, if you have kind of one that you can think of right off the bat, that's unique that you would think to Carroll students, so that might not happen for other students at different institutions.
Only at Carroll.
Quad Hill. Okay. Oh,
Go
you
ahead.
wanna
Go for it.
So
I'm
in
still
the
thinking.
fall, like right near the beginning of the year, there's like this night where Guadalupe Hall is at the bottom of this huge hill, and you have to climb up that hill to get to the rest of campus. And on that hill, we put a big tarp, and we make like a massive slip-in slide, and there's a barbecue outside. There's like a rock wall. There's a bunch of like, live music and blow-up games where you like knock each other off of the lake. You know?
Jousting.
Yeah, the jousting, and that's super fun. And then later that night, we do a paint dance where it's like a mini rave, kind of, like in the middle of Helena. We wait till it's dark, and like we bring in a DJ, and then you dance kind of beneath this stage, and they like shoot paint out into the audience.
Everyone wears white. And you
Yeah.
get covered in different colors.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
I was gonna say something else. I forgot.
I would say, like, kind of away from events, I just know a lot of friends who go to bigger schools, and a lot of my friends from high school, I'll, like, talk to them, and you can see that they still have the exact same, like, group of friends that they had right when they got to school their freshman year, and I think that just speaks to how big it is because they're not able to get out and meet other people, and they kind of just feel stuck. But at least for me, and I don't know if this is the same for you guys, but I, like, met a group of 10 people in the first week, and then the next week I'd meet another group of 10 people, and then even this year I'm meeting more and more people that I'll go to meals with and eat with, and just always getting new friends and just kind of expanding, which I feel like is pretty rare for college.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Great. So we had another question from a viewer. So what's the longest duration you walk in between classes?
I timed it. I think it was
You guys-
6 minutes,
From
maybe.
where to where?
It was quad to
Simp.
like the top of the sim. Yeah, quad because I had to go up to anatomy lab up on the So that was, and that's all by foot.
Yeah.
No biking.
No
biking necessary.
longboards.
Though in the snow it might take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Or if it's icy.
How many times you slip up Quad Hill?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I have a unique story. Can I go back to that?
Sure.
So there's this joke, kind of running joke that like you're not a true freshman unless you've slipped down Quad Hill, which is like what Cailin was talking about, like this huge hill. The dorm's here, and it's this hill that you have to kind of like walk up every time. And I hadn't slipped the entire year. It was like February, so I had the whole first semester and no slips, no falls. And then it was snowy and like pretty trodden down this path on the hill. And I got all the way up and it was totally fine. And then I realized I left my paper on the printer. And so I was like, oh crap, okay, well, I'm just gonna jog down and go get it. First mistake. And then nobody was around. I ran down and I was almost there. I was literally running down this hill, and then I just slipped and just ate it. And I thought that I looked around and like dusted myself off, and like nobody saw me. I was like, wow, that's great. And then I was just like getting up, and then I hear a window unlatch, and like the dorm, like the windows, the boys' side is facing this hill. Somebody unlatched their window and just rolled it back and was like, "Nice job, Mary." And so like it just shows like everyone knows you here, not all the time, but chances are somebody's gonna see you slip and fall on your butt.
Yeah. Off of that too, I lived on the other side of the building, so from my room you couldn't see the hill, but the room across from me had a great view, front and center of the hill. And after big like morning classes were over, something's around like 11 o'clock, we would go in to like their room and literally just watch out the window and just like kind of like make little bets like, oh, you think that person's gonna fall?
Going too fast.
Yeah, so that was fun.
So between classes, you can say usually
For
under 10
sure,
minutes.
easily under 10.
I leave
Like
10
probably-
minutes early
Average
to get
like
to class.
4,
Yeah.
like 3.
5.
Yeah. Great. So then we'll go last question. So we had a question kind of basically on the Catholic identity of Carroll College and what it's like for students that aren't Catholic, and then what it's like for students that are Catholic. So maybe kind of talk about kind of the ecumenical side of Carroll, so the accepting side of Carroll, I guess, and what that means for both religious and non-religious people.
I think that I'm Catholic, but I was really impressed at like all of my friends here that aren't Catholic. They have like outwardly said that they never feel pressured into anything, but that it's not like weird for them or awkward or uncomfortable. And I think Carroll does a really impressive and really good job at finding a fine balance of just letting students know, like, hey, this is out here if you're interested, but there's no pressure and it's not anything that is expected. But then for people who are interested in their faith life and Catholicism, or it's readily available, and they have the core, which is like the men's group that meets, and then VIA, which is the women's group, and mass every day on campus, and things like that. So, yeah.
If you are Catholic, there's a ton of opportunities to get involved, like not only on Carroll, but like there's also a huge cathedral downtown, which is gorgeous, and I'm in the choir, so we go and we sing mass down there once a month, and it's super cool to get that opportunity to like take part in the like Catholic identity of not just Carroll, but also like all of Helena. So like you're part of the Carroll community, and then also like the larger Helena community, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, when you're freshmen and sophomores too, they do retreats, men's and women's retreats, and then they do a freshman and sophomore retreat. And those are super fun and super accepting. You meet so many people. I met Joe there. Yeah, those are a blast though. I mean, and Father Mark comes with us, and we don't really. It's not super religious. It's more of kind of like, who are you? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? So it's very nice to enter college with and to think about that.
Yeah, I know the motto of a campus ministry is that like it'll meet you where you're at, and so that could mean a million different things. That could mean like you're super active in your faith life and you really want to pursue other opportunities, and they'll have those opportunities for you here at Carroll. But it also could mean that, you know, I'm not really sure about my faith life. I've never really explored it before. That makes me kind of nervous. Then they'll be like, oh well, we like invite you to come to mass if you want to, but if that makes you uncomfortable, there's no pressure. Like Joe was saying, there's no pressure to do that. And then yeah, there's tons of really fun opportunities that campus ministry puts on. And then I grew up Catholic, but until coming here, I actually didn't really enjoy going to church that much, just because I felt like church was kind of geared towards definitely an older community, at least where I was from, is kind of geared towards like 60, 70-year-old people. And that just didn't really resonate with me. But then here, it's actually like, it's really awesome because it's all college kids. And so Father Mark does he's a priest that lives on campus here, and he tailors all of his homilies towards kind of more of like a younger person's experience. And that was really refreshing to me. I really enjoy his homilies, and so he does a really good job, and I think he gets the students here at Carroll excited about their faith lives and stuff. So.
Yeah, I even have friends who aren't Catholic and not really religious at all, but they'll come to mass with us like every week just to hear Father Mark's homilies, because they're just, him talking is so applicable to anything that any college kid is going through or doing. at the time. So I think that's really cool and unique.
Great. Yeah, so since that was the last one, do you guys have any, I mean, you don't have to, but if you have any closing thoughts or anything you want to say to the students kind of before we sign off, now's the time.
I love Carroll. No, I was like super scared to come to college. I was like, I'm from a small town. You know, I didn't have to meet anybody really. I was just kind of implemented into it. So I was scared I wasn't going to meet anybody, and that it was going to be super nerve-wracking. It was going to be super hard. But it's nice. Everybody's super nice. Everybody was super accepting. It was like you really didn't have to like try to meet anybody. Kind of, it was like we're all just friends already, I guess. It was really cool. And then it's not all the professors are so great at helping you with school that it almost seems like it's not like learning. I don't really know. It's like fun. It's like fun to learn with the professors. Like they make it super easy. So
Yeah.
but yeah.
I would just say that, like, I know, like, the college search is kind of a rough time a little bit. It's kind of confusing. There's and, like, I think something that, like, somebody told me when I was looking at schools is, like, you're going to be fine wherever you go. Like, you've got really great higher education programs in the country. Like, it's any country or any college that you choose to go to, I think you're going to do just fine, and like just kind of go with your gut, and if it feels right, it's probably the right place for you. So I mean, we obviously hope that's Carroll, but if it it could be another place too. So just kind of figure out what you like about each school and just kind of base your decision off of that.
Yeah, I feel like kind of off of that. I feel like high school kids looking for college, and me especially, kind of just get caught up in, I have to find like the one school, like the perfect one. And I feel like college is just kind of what you make it. And obviously there's colleges that make it a lot easier to make it a good experience for yourself. And I think Carroll is one of those places. But there's tons of choices and tons of colleges that I could have gone to and been really, really happy at. But I'm really glad that I chose Carroll. Just after being here and experiencing it, I feel like it was the right choice.
Well, for any,
Same.
couldn't have said it better. Well, for any potential students that are maybe watching, it's really important, kind of like I said, to first of all visit the schools you're thinking of, and then, I mean, when you do have questions about the schools, please reach out and ask either the admissions office at that school or students or whoever you can reach. So, but other than that, I think we will sign off, and thanks for watching.
Hi.
Bye.